Bruchim Habaim, welcome. I am Rabbi Faith Joy Danjewitz of Congregation Emeth in Morgan Hill. We come together tonight in solidarity with and for our sisters and brothers, our siblings in Israel. We gather together this evening, broken-hearted, outraged, worried, in shock and pain. We gather together as a community in solidarity to offer support to one another. Why do we gather? As we learn in this week's Torah portion, Bereshit, the very beginning of the Torah, with the creation of the world and human beings, it is not good for a person to be alone. Your being here tonight shows us the power of being with others. Your presence helps bring comfort for all of us who mourn. Your presence is a balm to those who ache. From the shock of last Saturday's surprise terrorist attack on Israel by Hamas, by land, air, and sea, we are reeling from the devastation. As the numbers continue to rise to more than 1,200 Israelis dead, approximately 150 kidnapped, thousands injured, we continue to hear gruesome details of murders of babies, elderly, women, men, young people attending a peace concert, gunned down, kibbutz members brutally murdered, soldiers called to the front, and too many returning to be buried. We fear for the hostages, individuals of all ages, from babies to a Holocaust survivor, preteens and young adults. Every Jewish person has either a direct connection to a friend or family member in Israel, or is only 1 or 2 degrees of separation. Our social media is filled with photos and stories. The whole ish, isha, yeshem. Each person, each missing person, each murdered person has a name and a story to be told and remembered. Our community's strength is showing up for one another. While we cannot erase this tragedy, we can hold one another close as we move through this devastating time together. In closing, I want to share this poem by Rabbi Karen Kedar entitled, Peace, Please. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts lest they harden with despair. Guide our thoughts lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yedid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace.
There have been moments over the past 5 days when I've wanted to take to social media, to speak out, to rant, to make excellent points, and to argue. As I prepared to speak tonight, and I started preparing before I knew there would be a tonight and before I knew that I would be invited to speak, I pounded on my keyboard and wrote and deleted, created and destroyed my own thoughts. And here's what I was left with. Grief. As I stand here tonight, surrounded by my community, all I want to do is grieve. Grieve for the Israeli and Palestinian lives cut short by violence. Grieve for the Israelis and Americans and others who have been taken hostage. Grieve for the children in Gaza without access to food, water, or medical treatment. Grieve for the promise of peace. And tonight feels like a massive Shiva minyan, so I know I'm in the right place. I have often found comfort in turning to Judaism in times of sorrow, anxiety, and sadness. The words of the Kaddish have run through my mind, but the audacity of proclaiming God's greatness in the midst of such horror is just a bridge too far for me. I need a different prayer tonight. Here it is. Dear God, you have taught us that every living being was created in your image, B'Tselem Elohim, that every living being has infinite value, and yet came from dust, and to dust will return. None of us is ultimately greater than another. So how to explain the barbarity of terrorists, the power lust of corrupt leaders, the deep hatred that is sown between your creations? Give me the strength to continue to believe there is good, there is justice, there is beauty in the world. The strength to believe that peace is possible, that hatred will one day melt away. Is comfort still to be found among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem? If so, comfort all of us, for the sake of those who are gone, and for the sake of those who bore witness, and for all our sakes. May these horrors end and never befall humanity again. And so I grieve, and I pray. But as a leader in my community, while it is my right to take space and grieve, it is also my responsibility to act. So I will stand with my community, and I will speak out. I will cry out for mercy and for innocent civilian lives that are brutally cut short. I will demand accountability for those who unleash terror, commit unspeakable acts of mayhem, and engage in crimes of war, regardless of their claims of righteousness, retaliation, or resistance. I will extend my hand and declare my solidarity with Jews and Muslims and others who are targeted with hatred and violence. I will stand against any and all efforts to dehumanize civilians. And I will work for a world in which being Jewish does not put me or any of us in danger. May it be so.
So on behalf of all of my colleagues, I offer these words of prayer. El Malei Rachamim, God full of compassion, we cry out to you in this devastating and destabilizing moment. As is written in our sacred writings, we pour our hearts out like water before your presence, and we raise our hands to you over the lives of your innocent ones. Matir Asurim, God who liberates captives, watch over and be with those who have been callously and cruelly abducted, soldier and civilian, man, woman, and child. Have compassion upon them and bring them from suffering to relief, from darkness to light, and from subjugation to redemption, ensuring their swift and safe return home. Somech Noflim, God who lifts the fallen, send comfort and strength to the bereaved families and friends of those who have been brutally and brazenly murdered. Let the souls of our lost loved ones find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. Bind them to us in the bonds of everlasting life, and help us ensure their memories endure as a source of blessing. Rofei Cholim, God who heals the sick and injured, send a full and speedy recovery to the wounded, and grant all those providing care strength and wisdom, resource, and resilience. Tzur Yisrael v'Goalo, Rock and Redeemer of Israel, shield all our brothers and sisters in our holy land with the serene shelter of your Sukkah of peace. As was written by David, your servant, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love her rest tranquil. May there be peace within your walls, tranquility in your palaces. For the sake of my family and friends, let me please pray for your peace. For the sake of the dwelling place of the infinite, our God, let me seek your good. Adonai Tzebaot, Infinite One, guard and protect those who defend our brothers and sisters in our holy land, granting them courage and clarity, and equipping them to overcome and subdue those who would harm, and then hide behind the innocent. Ribono Shel Olam, sovereign and teacher of the world, shine the light of your truth to Israel's leaders, officers, and advisors, guiding them to see your image in all people, aligning them with your standard of righteousness, and planting in them the precepts of liberty, justice, and peace taught by your prophets, so that they may advance the age when bow and sword and battle will be banished from the land, and all may lie down secure. Chovev Amin, lover of all peoples, ready us to rescue our holy land from the spilling of blood. And remember that you have called upon us as your children to safeguard one another and to dwell together in peace. Steady us with your spirit, so that together we may make justice roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream, and speedily bring about the day when nation will not raise up sword against nation, and they will never again learn war. And let us say, Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us tonight. That's the end of our program.